The most common way to add interest to any match is to raise the stakes. But what happens if a promoter hasn't given you any stipulation, any feud, any backstory, any reason for the fight? Well, fortunately for you, stakes can be added to any match, and the booker doesn't even have to know about it. So stakes are a clear risk or wager that can be added to any match. If you think of any title program, it's all about winning the championship, being seen as the number one in your field. That right there are very clear stakes. But what happens if you don't have a title on the line, you don't have contendership on the line? What if there's no backstory or rivalry between the two wrestlers in the ring? To me, you always need to think about what your character will get out of winning this match. What does it mean to them? Or it could even be the opposite. Maybe you're getting in the ring with a highly dangerous opponent that has a habit of breaking arms or knocking their opponents out. Now we have the threat of injury. So how do you get these stakes across? How do you make sure that the crowd understands the story you're trying to deliver? Of course, the way that you structure and plan your match, the way that you execute it, is going to have a massive, massive impact on how it comes across. But you've also got to think about the other things that are in your control. Your social media is a great way to market yourself. It's a great way to put promos up, to talk about the importance of the match and tell everyone why they should come and see it and why it's so important to you and therefore them. You can also tell the other players, the commentators, the announcers, the people who are doing the social media for that promotion, people who can get your story across before you've even entered through the curtain. As independent wrestlers, our value is often not just based on skill, not just based on how over we are, but also our ability to market ourselves. And from my experience, a booker who knows that they can trust you to take a very loose idea or no idea at all, make it your own and turn it into something really, really good, is a booker that's going to trust you in the future to then give you bigger storylines with higher stakes. When I think of stakes, I also think of obstacles, and every good match has an obstacle or more. For a babyface, having obstacles there to overcome them, to look resilient, to look strong, to give a crowd that feel-good story can be really important to the end result. The same goes for being a heel. If the heel doesn't have an obstacle to overcome, there's no hope for the babyface, and without hope, there's no reason to invest. This kind of brings me back to one of my experiences as a mixed martial arts fan. I was at the UFC event in Adelaide. Can't remember if it was the first or second one, but the main event was a heavyweight bout between Stipe Miocic and Mark Hunt. Now, Stipe went in the favorite, but Mark Hunt had a reputation. He was that big, stocky dude who only needed one punch to put his opponents on their back. Immediately before starting the fight, we knew the stakes. We knew that one punch was all it might take to put Stipe out of contention. Now, the way the fight actually went, for those who haven't seen it before, it was the most one-sided squash match in history. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was the most significant strikes ever landed on an individual's head in the UFC ever. Could be wrong, but it was something insane like that where Mark Hunt got taken down, beaten up again and again and again. As I was watching this from the crowd, something special started to happen. Mark Hunt was getting completely ravaged. But every couple of minutes, Mark Hunt would work his way back up to his feet. And as he would work his way back up to his feet, the crowd would rise with him. He'd work his way back up. We knew the stakes. We knew that one punch was all we needed to put Stipe on his back. But Stipe would take him down again. Hunt would work his way up and get taken down again. Without really throwing a strike or landing a punch, Mark Hunt was becoming the biggest babyface I think I've ever seen live. The most one-sided squash match in history had very clear stakes. One punch, and it could be lights out for Stipe. But it also had a very clear obstacle. Mark Hunt cannot punch Stipe if he's flat on his back after being taken down. It was pro wrestling at its finest. So the next time you're in a match that seems like a filler, it seems like there's no rhyme or reason, think about your character's history and your opponent's history. What kind of stakes can you add to your match? And if you can't think of anything beforehand, add them during the match. Put in obstacles, overcome those obstacles. You're going to have a way better chance of telling your story to the audience and keeping them invested in exactly what you're doing in the ring. So thanks for watching. If you have any input, anything to add to the discussion, please drop it in the comments box below. As always, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell, and I will see you next week for another episode of World Beater Wrestling.
If you want to see more videos like this, click on the subscribe button, spread the word, and if you have any questions or requests for World Beater Wrestling, don't be afraid to comment below.